The girl is dancing freely on the ice. She inadvertently glanced deep into the ice, met a pale corpse. She was so frightened that she stopped skating. Inertia made her fall to the ground. The ice broke up. The girl quickly fell into the icy lake. The corpse under the ice seemed to come alive, tightly wrapped around the girl. The story begins 30 years ago. Dawn appears. The faint morning light penetrates the clouds, illuminated the entire lake. A team of SWAT officers came here by boat. They surrounded the lake. Because there is a fugitive living here, he's the leader of a cult. A long time ago, female high school student Roxanne was killed. The murderer smeared anthracite on her face. The crowd suspected that the murderer was the leader. The SWAT team arrived at a country house. The leader is standing at the door. See, SWAT. He showed no resistance. It's looking straight ahead with empty eyes. Then I knelt on the ground. Then a lot of blood gushed out of his mouth. This caught the SWAT officers off guard. They placed the leader back in the villa again. There are corpses everywhere, and here's what's even stranger. The face of every corpse are smeared with a kind of anthracite. Portrait of the leader hanging in the house adds a touch of weirdness to the atmosphere, so the case fell apart. The police opted for secrecy until 30 years later. No one knows what happened. As time goes by, people gradually forgot the news. Only one man is still obsessed with investigating him. He thought there was something going on. The man has a daughter, Ada. Ada has a secret on the surface. He was a harmless girl, is actually a highly skilled hacker. One day, Ada's father was talking to Ada on the phone. Suddenly, a mysterious man appeared in the back seat of the car. Then Ada only heard the tearing between the two. After a period of time, the father lost his voice. Ada wants to call her father. The phone was hung up, so he looked up his father's missing internet protocol address, found out it was a slave shop. He also used his identity as a hacker, turned on my father's computer. Inside, found a photo of James, the slave shop clerk. Then Ada investigated the man James was there 6 months ago, was arrested for engaging in underground transactions. Ada thinks this person is very suspicious. Wait until he comes to the slave shop. When confronted with James denied it. Ada can't ask for a clue. Just get out of here immediately. After a woman in a hat entered the store, she told James his slave fell on the mountain. Asked James to help us go up the mountain to find it. After the two arrived on the snowy mountain, woman claimed she didn't lose her sled. At all this is just an excuse to be alone with James. His real purpose was to confess to her. James rejected the woman's offer. He didn't want to lose his job because of it. The woman went down the mountain in anger, complaining about James' incomprehension. They don't even know they're being watched. Didn't take a few steps, he was kidnapped and thrown into a cave. Then the mysterious man grabbed the woman from behind and put Wu Yanmei on the woman's face. The other side. After fruitless questioning, Ada began to search for new clues. He found a key hidden in his father's photo album, and he photographed it. Upload to a forum commonly used by hackers trying to mobilize the power of netizens to crack the secret of the key. It was a stranger who called him. Stranger orders to be beaten. Take James to a mental hospital. The next day, James was resting at home. The policewoman Sophia suddenly bowed, asked him about the whereabouts of the woman in the hat yesterday. Due to the monitoring, recorded the scene of James talking with a woman in the store, and the scene where he climbs a mountain with a woman. Plus, James already has a criminal record, so Sophia suspects that James is the murderer. James has a hard time arguing. He was about to be handcuffed by the police. Ada appeared. He told Sophia, you can prove James' innocence. He saw James parting ways with the woman last night. Suffice it to say that James didn't kidnap him. The reason why Ada is so determined, it's because he didn't leave at all yesterday. He was following James and the women. The two got into the car. Ada asks James go to the mental hospital with him because this is the order given by the cult leader. See, James unwilling to travel. Ada could only hypnotize him. Sophia, who let James go, thinks there is something wrong with the kidnapping case, so he brought along a police dog. Decided to go to the mountains to find out. Soon, he found the entrance buried in snow. It looks like it leads to an abandoned mine shaft. He looked up. I saw two people standing in the distance. They were wearing yellow hazmat suits. Then the whole mountain began to shake violently. When calm again, the two people in front of me have disappeared. A long time has passed. James, who had been hypnotized, woke up. He ignores a moving vehicle, directly resisted, pull violently, let Ada almost miss the steering wheel. The car skidded on the snow-covered road, almost fell off the cliff. One corpse, two lives. Ada sees coercion as ineffective. I started playing the emotional card. James thought he risked being identified as an accomplice. Defend yourself in front of the police. Suddenly softened, so I agreed to go to a mental hospital. The two soon arrived at their destination. Ada picks up the phone, show the cult leader a photo of his father, and ask him if he knows the leader. Just stared blankly ahead, ignore. But when James came into his sight, it was as if he had changed. Muttering to James, he said he often dreamed of James. He also called him the son of heaven. James' mother once wandered in the light and night, but no matter how many times I exhorted him, it didn't change the fate of him being swallowed by the night. And the night is still spreading unchecked. James catches the leader. I want the leader to tell me more details, but the leader regained his sluggishness, won't say a word. James leaves the mental hospital while recalling his childhood. One night, young James woke up from his sleep. Find yourself in the midst of a raging fire. He hurried to find his mother's figure, but only my mother is leaning against the table. Lost my breath. Forever time. Back to the present. A young girl is skating on the ice. A pale corpse suddenly appeared under the ice. She fell to the ground in fright, but unfortunately fell to the bottom of the lake. The girl's boyfriend is filming next to her. I immediately called the police. When I saw this scene, the police launched an investigation. This terrifying corpse in front of me, it was at the sleigh shop. The woman, in the hat, the right side of her face is pale. The left side of his face was coated with black anthracite. The police were shocked. This modus operandi, very similar to the incident 30 years ago. Woman's body examined by dating forensic. It was eventually determined that her death was due to drowning, but at the same time the woman's skull shows obvious signs of trauma, and a chip is implanted in the ear. Forensics just took out the chip. An alarm went off on the body. It was the phone in his pocket. The phone shows that the data is about to be automatically destroyed. As the progress bar ends, the Kasha logo appeared on the phone. This is the largest company in the area. Policewoman Sophia thinks this case is serious. He took the chip and went to the Kasha company unexpectedly. The front desk did not agree to his intrusion. Sophia can only display the chip through monitoring. You're talking to him. If the higher-ups want to get their stuff back, go find him. Ada returns home from the mental hospital. He turns on his phone. Check out previous issues posted in the hacker forum. Hackers are powerful. One call being, they provided Ada with an address. Ada goes along the address, found out it was a warehouse in his father's name. There are some equipment in the warehouse. There is a cult leader hidden inside, and a video of an interview with James' mother, Juliet. He found James with the video. The two watched the video together. In the video, Juliet claims that Roxanne was murdered. That person is not the leader, Roxanne. He mentioned the high school girl who was killed 30 years ago. Ada's father also holds the same opinion. Maybe Ada's father knows something, received revenge from the real murderer. James heard about this mind, remembering the fire I experienced as a child. Again, the sudden explosion interrupted both of their thoughts. They escaped unaware on a distant mountain. A masked man is watching them. This explosion must have been deliberate. This side proves that the clues Ada was looking for were correct. He called his good friend Paul. Take him and James to their father's warehouse. Paul cautioned everyone to be careful because his sister is policewoman Sophia. His brother-in-law is also a police officer. There is a video of SWAT arresting believers attracted their attention, except for a little boy in the video. All believers die mysteriously, and because Dennis, the police officer who arrested the believers, now with Alzheimer's disease, therefore it is difficult to determine the boy's identity. The most likely scenario in this case is the boy's parents are still alive. They fled, with the boy perhaps plotting to continue promoting the cult to prevent this from happening once again. Ada has chosen to rely on the power of the internet. He posted the video to a hacker forum. Suddenly, he felt a suffocation. The two escorted Ada to the mental hospital. At this time, something unexpected happened. The leader beats his chest in the mirror. Other patients in the hospital also followed. Inexplicably apply paint to your face, then beat the chest, and that stops when the nurse shows up. The leader has returned to the previous state, sitting on the bed. Ada, who was taken to the hospital, was scheduled for an operation. The surgeon was a friend of Paul's. He was unwilling to reveal Ada's condition to the two of them. See Ada out of danger. The two no longer asked. It's getting late. James' uncle came to pick him up in his car. In the car, James couldn't help but ask his uncle, his own mother, Juliet, have you participated in cult activities? Uncle perfunctory, a few words, didn't answer the question directly. Near home, Auntie stood at the door waving, desperately stopped the vehicle from moving forward. Original, a man wearing a mask trespassed in their house and rudely look at their belongings in the house. Seems to be searching for something. When James and his uncle entered the house, the mysterious man has disappeared on the other side. Policewoman Emma concludes a day of investigation. Also returned home. Her mother asked her, did you go to the Kasha company today? There is a lot of anger towards the company. I remember when Sophia was pregnant with a child, but soon miscarried. Sophia's mother suspected this is all a conspiracy by the Kasha company. He once called on everyone to oppose Kasha together. Ada is asleep after surgery. Suddenly, I dreamed of my father. He played a video for Ada. In the video, Ada is taken into the cult. Everyone here is keeping their heads down. Suddenly, a woman emerged from the water. She handed Ada a box of videos, and then Ada woke up. He pulls out his phone. It turns out there's already a response on the hacker forum. The little boy is singing a folk song in the video, I'm from Canada. Coincidentally, there was a disappearance where the ballad was a man sent his wife and children to a local cult, but he's still not satisfied, sent his son to a cult in France. This man is the 13th disciple of the cult leader. The netizens also provided photos of the man. He is very likely the murderer of Roxanne. It is also very likely that the murderer who kidnapped Ada's father, the boy, ran away from home at the age of 15, and he went on the street. Finally frozen to death, and he was in charge of investigating the case that year. Now police officer Dennis with Alzheimer's disease. I'm watching TV at the moment. Suddenly, a mysterious man wearing a mask appeared outside the window. Dennis was terrified. The nurse listened to his description and went outside to check, and there was nothing there. He thought Dennis was having a seizure. Didn't care too much. Then he turned around and walked back to the room. Unexpectedly, the mysterious person appeared again. Behind him, cover his mouth. A gunshot ended the nurse's life. Paul and James are nearby at this moment. They just wanted to talk to cop Dennis. I didn't expect to hear gunshots, and they came running. Quick alarm, Paul told policewoman Sophia. It tells the story. Sophia listened later to Dennis, asked Dennis if he knows who the murderer is, and here's James pulling out a photograph. This is what Ada gave him a while ago. The little boy's father Dennis panicked when he saw the photo. The person in the picture is the murderer. Then James took the policewoman to the hospital. Several people explained the origin of the photo, but Sophia believes that there is a lot of false content on the internet. Don't blindly believe. In order to prevent several people from being retaliated by the murderer, Sophia also threatened if they intervene in the investigation again, they will be detained. But several people are obviously not afraid. Ada decided to make an appearance on the internet, reveal their whereabouts to attract the attention of those behind the scenes. The mastermind behind the scenes really can't hold back. The village held a winter festival on this day. Ada is singing in the square. A black guy comes up and grabs the mic. He began to abuse the company. The speeches resonated with the crowd, and they fought along. Because they all agree poison made by the Kasha company, they deform babies. Keen Ada sees among the crowd are mysterious people wearing masks. He shouted through the microphone, "Let Paul and James catch him." Strange things happen. Black man starts spitting blood. The same goes for the people in the audience who echoed, and then it falls to the ground. Several people connected with the policewoman to catch the mysterious person. James took off his sheep head mask. Surprising discovery, the mysterious man is actually old cop Dennis. The poison in his hand also rolled away. Just as a few people were focusing on the poison, Dennis slipped away. Policewoman Sophia is agile. Soon followed. "You chased me all the way, came to the villa where the crime occurred 30 years ago. That's where the cult gathers." Sophia slowly entered the villa. "I saw Dennis banging on the portrait of the leader on the wall. Then I uncovered the wall. Inside is a mummy." Dennis put his head in his hands, explained to Sophia, "The so-called masked mystery man is just his hallucination. The mummy in front of me was killed by him. He is the father of the little boy on the tape. The reason why Dennis killed him, it's because the sect master arranged this task for him as an initiation ceremony. After he did so, he was afraid of being reported by the church, poisoned the water tank, poisoned all the members." That would explain 30 years ago. There were corpses everywhere in the villa. He did exactly what he did off stage. Secretly poisoned the audience. Strangely enough, he didn't kill the woman who was thrown into the lake, the same one who showed up at the sleigh shop before. There has been no clue in this case. And he spits blood. The death of the suspect had a significant impact on the career of the policewoman. The director doesn't think he's fit to handle these cases. He was sent to a civilian post and gave him a long vacation. The reason is that the policewoman suffers from depression and still torn. The case from 30 years ago. The policewoman's husband Bobby is his colleague, but Bobby didn't defend him. Instead, add fuel and vinegar. Just because he is afraid that his wife will surpass him, he was disappointed by the incomprehension of his colleagues at the police station. He put down his gun and ID, turned around, and left the police station. When the Sino-Japanese celebration was held, James' ex-wife with her daughter come and find James. He asked James to get back together, but James has something important to do, didn't reply to him. In the evening, he came home to inquire about the whereabouts of his uncle's ex-wife. Was told he had left Ada's house, experienced an explosion before, so he had to come to James's house for the night. James spent the night in his mother's room. Ada came downstairs to drink water. I ran into James' aunt head-on. Aunt warns Ada, don't let James investigate those cases anymore. This will remind James of bad things in the past. James' ex-wife, Susan, he brought his daughter to the door of the hotel. He has no idea that he has been targeted by the mysterious person. The next morning, Susan is checking out. The daughter disappeared. In the blink of an eye. In the distance came the cries of my daughter. She followed her cries and found her daughter. Her forehead was painted with an unknown pattern. Daughter in Susan's arms keeps talking about monsters, so Susan contacted James. James heard that his daughter was in danger. Without further ado, let Paul cover for her at the sleigh shop. I found my ex-wife. The ex-wife drew the pattern on her daughter's head for James. Subsequently, the mother and daughter were arranged to stay at James' house temporarily, and James came to the studio to investigate. In the warehouse, he found a videotape with the same pattern. Open it up. In it appeared his mother, Juliet. I saw Juliet covering her abdomen in pain. Blood is flowing. Then a woman with a red face turned her head next to. It's the same pattern as James' daughter's forehead, and on the other side, Ada was up all night. He came to Dennis' house looking for other clues. I saw some drawings and photos in the cupboard. Immediately put it on the hacker forum. Then there was a noise from downstairs. I didn't expect the policewoman to come here. To Ada showed the drawings to the policewoman. The policewoman said Dennis had another house. The address is at the place marked on the drawings. They went there together. Paul, who works for the sleigh shop, trouble on first day in office. A bearded man walks into the store. He took out a picture of James, asked Paul where this person is. Paul lied about himself. Don't know James. Ada and the policewoman arrive at Dennis' old house. It's dusty. Apparently no one has lived there for a long time. The policewoman ripped off the shutter that blocked the light. The sun comes in. They discovered intricate formulas carved into the walls. Then a figure flashed through the window. Ada keenly noticed. He chased after the policewoman. I saw a man standing outside. He told them that he was a forest ranger. The two were also forbidden to enter deeper because there was an avalanche there. Ada firmly believes that this person is not good, must be lying. He pulled out a stun gun and stunned him. Then I went up the mountain with the policewoman. James, who watched the tape, hurry up and call Ada. He just walked out of the warehouse a few steps away. I was followed by the bearded man who showed up at the sleigh shop. The bearded man just tried to kill James. The policewoman's husband, George, came to the door. He took James back to the police station because he thinks James is the murderer of the woman in the lake, but no matter how much he questioned can't get the clues you want, George had no choice but to let James go, and James also found it in the police station and stole the file of the Red Lotus girl Ada, and the policewoman, after a long trek, finally reached the top of the mountain in the snow. A yellow tent is stationed prominently. The two rushed forward to investigate, but inside the tent was a pile of dead goats. The smell of corpses is very strange. The two were dizzy. Limb weakness fell to the ground. Subsequently, several men in hazmat suits took them away. Paul and James had no idea. They are now on their way to find the Red Lotus girl, and the bearded man actually followed behind them. He drove his car into the back of the two men's car. Paul was forced to stop the car, but the bearded man had no intention of letting them go. He crashed their car. Although the cliff bike has been scrapped, the two were unharmed. The bearded man is chasing after, pulled out a pistol and tried to take care of them. Fortunately, the two of them run fast. I got rid of the bearded man in a while. Fortunately, they ran in the right direction. I accidentally came to the house of the Red Lotus girl. They opened the door and went in. Found lying on the bed, it's Ada's long-missing father. Paul and James support Ada's father, ready to leave this place, but the Red Lotus girl appeared. She pointed a long gun at Paul, and there was a gunshot. It was the bearded man who just caught up. He also took the bearded man's gun. James thought of asking him about his daughter, but was elbowed to the ground by the Red Lotus woman. He got up again. Asked the Red Lotus girl why she hurt her mother Juliet. The Red Lotus woman denied the claim, claiming that he did not hurt her, to prove that she also showed the scar on the palm of her hand. It turned out that Juliet lost her mind back. Then, after she accidentally injured her stomach, like crazy, pick up the glass fragments and attack the Red Lotus girl. Ada's father didn't kidnap her. I just saw her on the mountain, just took her in at home. As for James' daughter, one, it was indeed painted by him, but that's also to protect the little daughter from being hurt. The policewoman who was arrested was delirious. It was as if he had been placed on a cart. He tried his best to see clearly. Man pushing cart found him resembling the boy in the videotape. After a trance, he came to his senses. But I'm actually sitting in the car. He's a little weird. Are those all dreams? The policewoman looks at the empty co-pilot. Climb the mountain again. Here are various scenes and a series of footprints. It all proves the authenticity of the experience. Just now, soon, he found Ada at the top of the mountain. Guess they were taken away by people in hazmat suits, had some surgery, then send them back. Now there may be some device installed in their body. Good news. Ada receives news that her father is alive. He took the policewoman straight to the hospital. Father is lying unconscious in the hospital bed. James talks to Ada about his mother Juliet. Everything is also a ritual required by the cult. James thinks maybe his own mother that led to all this tragedy. Ada comforts James. Maybe Juliet did it for a reason. Inside the mental hospital at the moment, the leader starts hammering the chest again. The nurse tried to stop him, but was injected with anesthesia by another patient. The policewoman returns home. He checked the information on the videotape. Boy, the message shows that the boy is dead, but he thinks the boy must still be alive. He also suspects Dennis announced that the boy was dead, actually adopted him. All the cases that happened in the small town all point to the Kasha company. He thinks that as long as he finds the boy, we can solve this riddle, but these inferences were not accepted by her husband George. He just thinks the policewoman is cranky. The next day, James went to the cemetery to visit his mother. Behind my mother's grave, there is a statue of a black nun. It's engraved. It says, "Nora, please let me go." Ada waited all night and couldn't wait for her father to wake up, so he started looking in his father's bag. Found a computer inside. The policewoman takes the child to school. A visit was held on campus today. The destination is an anthracite mine. The principal of the school is the mother of the policewoman. The policewoman came to her mother's house. See mother not at home. He flipped through the information. Will discover Kasha often does experiments on children. One of the photos caught his attention. This is a picture of a doctor. Coincidence, it's Paul's friend, and there she was. He introduced the policewoman to the doctor. He used to treat policewomen for depression. I also treated a deformed baby girl, but he later became a member of the Kasha company. Paul and the doctor are playing in the RV. Suddenly, someone broke the glass of the car. Paul got up to check. A group of men stood at the door. They are members of the anti-Kasha company group. Since the doctor is a staff member of Kasha company, they found the door. I want to take the doctor away for cross-examination. Paul and the doctor rejected their request. They started fighting. The policewoman arrived at the scene in time. He took the doctor and asked about the Kasha company. They live in areas where anthracite is extremely pure. Therefore, very famous Kasha also seized the opportunity. We mine anthracite here. Also found another treasure here that's a bacterium. This bacterium could have anti-inflammatory effects in humans 2,000 times more significant than corticosteroids. This research was conducted by researcher Bud. The company wants to take advantage of this bacterium, contribute to the entire medical community, so Bud took over the project. He actually did experiments on sheep. Then he secretly contacted Paul, let him send some patients for experiments. Therefore, he has unique access to the institute. The policewoman remembers everything she saw before. Yellow tent, the person in the yellow hazmat suit, and the piles of sheep carcasses in the tent. Maybe it's related to the research they do. The policewoman ventured to a conclusion. The female corpse that appeared in the lake before, maybe it's their experimental subject. To further validate the guess, he begged the doctor to help him enter institute. Finds boy in videotape. Confront him. James went home. He wanted to find a man named Nora. Uncle told him when Juliet went to Paris, a woman came to his house looking for him. Seems urgent, but even so, and he didn't tell him where Juliet was. Suddenly the house dog starts barking. He goes out the door. I saw the leader standing under the big tree disappeared in the blink of an eye. He went to a mental hospital immediately on the way. He called the mental hospital, but never got through. A mental patient appeared halfway through. He is a follower of the leader. This led James to believe he didn't read it wrong. Just now the leader really came out of the mental hospital. Ada is looking through her father's bag, found a bone marrow match. He turned to the hacker forum again. The netizens told him the date of the bone marrow pairing was not long ago, and the bone marrow matches the blood type. AB does not match the father's blood type. Oh, apparently someone stole the father's name. He is wondering the videotape next to it attracted him. Teachers at the school are taking the children on a tour of the mine, but the policewoman's son took advantage of the teacher's lack of attention, walked into another mine. The scary thing is the light on his helmet suddenly malfunctioned. The darkness swallowed everything. He wanted to call for help, but the teacher drifted away from him. On another road, suddenly a man wearing a mask appeared. He screamed. Fortunately, someone heard the voice, came over. The mysterious man also disappeared. The doctor entered the door of Kasha. He told the receptionist, "I'm going to pick up the documents myself." Then a door was opened for the policewoman. The policewoman successfully met with Bud, told the policewoman, Wu Yanmei hides great energy. Video boy Bailey is giving a speech at the moment. Someone told him the doctor allowed the policewoman to break in. Entered the institute, so Bailey went back to the office. He denied the claim of killing the woman in the lake. The chip in the woman's body doesn't actually work currently, only for vital signs detection. Then a woman came in and interrupted them. Tell Bailey there is an unknown object in the mine. Attack the staff. Ada puts the tape in the player. I saw Juliet in her third trimester interview on camera, and then something happened. She gave birth to a girl, but it doesn't look like she wants that child. And that's when Ada learns I am that girl. In other words, he and James are siblings. James and Paul arrive at a mental hospital all the way. There's a lot of psychotic people running around. Coming into the hospital, the nurses watched helplessly as the mental patient ran out. They told James the cult leader caused all this. This means that the leader is exiled. He realized the urgency of the situation, immediately called Ada. Tell him to be careful. Ada just heard that I saw that the leader had come to my father's side. He smashed the glass door with a card in a hurry, but found that the leader had disappeared. The patients in the mental hospital have already fled. The head nurse returned to the office. Only 1.5 faces patient smeared with anthracite standing there. She told the head nurse that the siblings would not survive. But the head nurse had no qualms. She turned against the client and ended the patient's life. Then he dropped the sentence. He is the belief. When Juliet gave birth during the interview, she doesn't want this daughter, so Ada's father took her away. This girl is Ada. And that day Ada's father gave the key to the caretaker for convenience. But I didn't expect the administrator to be curious. Secretly hit with the key, opened the door to the studio. He opened Ada's father's file. I saw the photo of the leader at a glance. He finds himself in love with the leader after a few years. The administrator switched jobs and became a nurse. He met the leader and accompanied him for decades. So this is the nurse. James meets Ada when he learned that the two were siblings. Mixed feelings. This moment Ada's father finally woke up when James heard this. He went to inquire about the details of the incident. Ada's father confessed the reason why I kept this truth from Ada to prevent him from doing something extreme. Then James told Ada's father Ada has leukemia. I hope Ada's father can get a bone marrow test. When James's aunt cleaned the room, found a videotape. The contents shocked him. The administrator of that year entered the mental hospital after becoming a nurse, found the leader. He persuaded him to do what the leader should do instead of staying in a mental hospital all the time. He also said he was willing to help the leader leave, but the leader refused. The head nurse, who couldn't love, was very sad. She knows the leader has always liked James' mother. She started thinking about breaking the can. Finally, one night, she forced the leader she was pregnant. Wait until James gets home. Chaos in the house, and my aunt's face was coated with anthracite, fell in a pool of blood. The police will be here shortly. The uncle who just came home heard all about it. I broke down and cried. He blamed James, think he caused these things. Ada, on the other side, is still struggling to accept the truth. He made a mess of his father's studio. And I was racing down the street. Unfortunately hit the railing. He fainted as well. Wait until he wakes up again. The leader appeared by his side. He told Ada they wanted one restore the world to its original appearance after being kicked out of the house. James arrived at the police station. He remembered Nora engraved on the statue. He told the police. The police never found this person. James, who is homeless, arrives at the policewoman's house. The policewoman shared her findings with him. Mysterious creature attack in mine. When the lady of the lake herself was still alive, James parted with him not far from the mine. Disappearances in previous years. Most people get lost around here, and the mine employees at Kasha was attacked here. This has to make the policewoman suspect. There is a murderer living in the mine, then the policewoman's husband. George came back. He told the policewoman after their son Bailey visited the mine. I often remember the figure that appeared in the mine. Therefore, he took his buddies on an adventure inside not long ago. It's late at night. The inside of the mine is even more terrifying and eerie, so only Bailey dared to go. He didn't see the man inside. Instead, I found a necklace. It has the name of James' daughter written on it. Only then did James learn the ex-wife has suffered an accident. Daughter is also missing. Ada did not agree to the leader's request. The leader became angry, pushed Ada off the overpass, but he couldn't bear it, and they grabbed Ada. Pulled him back from the brink of death. Wait for Ada to calm down. The leader told him again the mastermind didn't want his life. He really wanted to kill James to save James. We must solve the mystery of the mine back then. The leader climbed the mountain and came to the vicinity of the mine. While he was resting, I overheard whispers in the mine. He slowly walked and the voice suddenly became harsh. The leader began to cover his head and ears, and that's when it happened. Found Wu Yinmei. James is searching for his missing daughter, came to the mine with the policewoman. As the policewoman thought the bodies in the mine, mostly former missing persons, suddenly a man wearing a mask appeared. He attacked the policewoman. Then my husband George came over. The murderer escaped, but the policewoman was also injured. He was taken to the hospital for treatment, and James is eager to save his daughter. Further into the mine, I didn't expect the murderer to go far. Paul visits the doctor's house. The doctor's mother is also here. She's the head nurse of the mental hospital. The head nurse forced the leader to get pregnant, gave birth to 2 children. One is a doctor, the other is a girl. The head nurse at the table said, "Your children are meant to achieve something great like Paul, like a bomb." This makes Paul very embarrassed. He quickly ended the meal. "Want to get out of here now." Just walking out the door, he heard noises coming from the cellar. Follow the sound. He saw a videotape playing in the cellar. It's a video of the leader. There is also a notebook next to it. It's full of the head nurse's dedication to the leader. After the head nurse gave birth to the child, raised them alone, he saw Paul as a symbol of light, carried with a great mission, unconstrained freedom of travel, and a daughter is a symbol of darkness, can only be locked in the cellar. But the head nurse is not satisfied. He sent his daughter to the mine again. Paul conformed to his mother's wishes and became a doctor. Saved a lot of lives. The daughter is destroyed by the mother, reduced to a serial killer, but the head nurse is not guilty. He thought it was just the right balance. Paul finishes reading this. I can only think of shock. Didn't wait for him to react. The doctor was instigated by his mother. Shoot him due to too much trust in my son. The head nurse asked the doctor to take care of Paul's funeral, but years of friendship have kept the doctor from doing it. He rushed Paul to the hospital, just happened to meet the policewoman who came to treat. So the doctor told this to the policewoman. The head nurse never allows doctors to enter the mine. That's where the eldest daughter stays, and the reason why the staff of the institute were attacked, probably because into the realm of the eldest daughter's life inside the mine. James woke up, and there was his daughter. James is Juliet's child, so the head nurse wants to get rid of him and his daughter in this way. The head nurse's child is the heir to the leader at this time. The leader came to the mine. He gently guided the head nurse's eldest daughter, persuade her to wash her hands, but the head nurse was not impressed. He ordered the eldest daughter to save the leader. Now a group of people gathered at the door of the Kasha company. They are all members of the anti-Kasha group, and everybody agreed. The tragedy in the mine was caused by the Kasha company. The policewoman drove here. Bud was seen with an explosive case in his hand, trying to achieve everlasting peace. The policewoman convinced Bud to drop the explosives for the life in the mine. Bud was convinced because he suddenly remembered himself. When he was a child, he was that little boy. Forced to join the church since childhood, no one wanted to save him. In order not to repeat the pain of the past, he was willing to lend a hand. They dropped the explosives. Members of the Van Kasha organization who can rush, and it's unreasonable. He shot Bud. One accidentally hit the explosive detonator. Explosives explode at this moment. Fortunately, several people are not in danger. Several people staggered out of the research institute. The police went back to the mine to investigate, discover the head nurse and her eldest daughter has passed away. The others survived. The doctor was put in jail. Everything seems to have ended successfully, but in fact Burr killed Juliet, and the death of my aunt has not been resolved. They weren't killed by the head nurse. The other side, James and Ada's bone marrow match is successful. Ada is finally free from the pain of leukemia, but he did not recognize James as brother and sister. He still can't let go of his father. Even if he is not the biological father, James sent him a message today. Tell him the leader is not his biological father. Uncle no longer blames James. He put aside his grudges. He brought James back home. The sheep raised at home this night had difficulty giving birth. My uncle took out an old dress, put it on James. 2 people give birth to a sheep. Uncle also named the lamb. Little James returned to the room. James saw the videotape on the table, the one my aunt listened to before she died. It turns out that Roxanne used to be Juliet's friend. One day, he finds Juliet's brother, that is. James' uncle has a secret, and he told that to Juliet. But Juliet didn't want to listen. James looked at the old clothes he was wearing. The word Nora is written on the clothes. It turned out that it was my uncle who violated his mother. Roxanne discovered it all. Uncle, to keep the secret, killed Roxanne and smeared anthracite on her face. Attempt to frame others. Ada's father was a journalist, and I figured that out pretty quickly. So being watched, James' aunt was also known to his uncle. Because of this, he killed his aunt and the fire before Juliet died. It was also caused by my uncle. When James learned the truth, he found his uncle engaged in a confrontation. He angrily picked up the shotgun and smashed it at his uncle, but in the end, I couldn't kill him ruthlessly. Just then, and Ada was there. The sound of a shotgun falling to the ground. It's about letting go of the past. It's the beginning of a new life.